Chris Dickerson. Chris Dickerson was at AAA for the entire season with the Pirates. There's an injury. He doesn't fit with Pittsburgh. And the next thing you know, he's in a new organization and he's playing in the big leagues. There's a lot of those guys. And I think the Indians have been reluctant to maybe put Francisco in that environment until they feel as if he is big league ready. And I think at this point, they're not going to come out and tell you he's big league ready, because it would be followed up with the rest of the world saying, then why isn't he in the big leagues? But I think they wouldn't have put him or promoted him to AAA until they felt like the time was very close to get him to Cleveland. And I think at this point, if I'm going down to the Francisco Lindor casino to place my bet is to when he makes an Indians debut, my bet would be in September, and I don't think it's any later than opening day next year.
All right, Mike, we'll pick this up on the other side of the break. We'll talk about the shortstop that's there, or is he, Asdrubal Cabrera, and what happens with him and his injury and all of that. We'll talk about the loss to the Twins, the Kansas City series coming up. Mike Brandenberry from DidTheTribeWinLastNight.com, J-Rock, The Sports Fix. We're talking Tribe. Listen to the news. Come back on the other side of the break. We'll be right back after this.
We here at the Sports Fix want to make all of your dreams come true.
What about my dream?
Edith, I told you I can't build your candy house. It will fall down. The sun will melt the candy. It won't work.
It will if it never rains.
Oh, maybe not all of them. Get your fix on the Sports Fix.
Harmony, harmony, all love.
Hey guys, before we go to the break, I want to talk to you a little bit again about our good friends at Harry Buffalo North Olmsted. Of course, during Brown season, we're there each and every week. What a fun time it was last year. But not just that, so many more reasons for you to check out the Harry Buffalo today. The UFC, the Ultimate Fighting Championships, some of the hottest fights in the world today. Each and every one of their huge events. Harry Buffalo is one of the few places in Northeast Ohio you can go there and watch each and every UFC fight at the Harry Buffalo. And let me tell you, I've been there. The people are out the door. They are to the rafters. It is one of the craziest environments for some UFC fights. Wing Mondays, they've got great deals on wings and drinks, and every day of the week there's a different special, a different deal. And don't forget the Bison Burger, the unbelievable. It is the combination of a fantastic burger and eating healthy combined into one unbelievable sandwich. You have got to get a Bison Burger while you're there. So whatever you're looking for, whatever day of the week, Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sundays, there's something for you at the Harry Buffalo North Olmsted, just outside Great Northern Mall. Check them out today. Harry Buffalo, join the herd.
This is head coach Gary Waters at Cleveland State, and you're listening to the Sports Fix.
Whether it's an oil change or a new set of tires, Quick Lane at Valley Ford Truck has you covered for your automotive car care needs. They're your neighborhood quick service experts. They also offer a low price tire guarantee. Choose from 13 brands, and if you find the same tires at a lower price within 30 days, Quick Lane at Valley Ford will refund the difference. They're open late Monday through Thursday until 9 p.m. and open early Saturday so you can check it off your to-do list and get on with your day. They also have a newly remodeled service lounge and additional service bay just for Quick Lane oil changes. Quick Lane at Valley Ford Truck is located at 5715 Canal Road, right under the 480 Bridge in Valley View, just down the road from Independence. 5715 Canal Road, right under the 480 Bridge in Valley View, just down the road from Independence. Come see why life is better in the Quick Lane. QuickLane.com/Valley Ford Truck. That's QuickLane.com/Valley Ford Truck.
Business owners and professionals, do you want to take your business, your product, your team, your event to the next level? You want to advertise right here with the Sports Fix. Our listeners are among the most loyal listeners, terrestrial or internet. The Sports Fix universe is not only the radio show, but tens of thousands of fans on Facebook and Twitter. Email me, Jerry Myers, thesportsfix@AOL.com. That's thesportsfix@AOL.com. And let me help you swing for the fences and hit it out of the park right here on the Sports Fix.
The Sports Fix is now available every day on the world's largest internet radio service, iHeartRadio. Download the free iHeartRadio app, subscribe to the show, and get your fix.
News break. Good morning, I'm Bob Picozzi. In only his second season last year, he led the NFL with 1,646 receiving yards. Cleveland's Josh Gordon has decided to appeal his one-year suspension for a failed drug test. This, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. And that appeal will be heard on August 1st. The Browns open training camp on Saturday. The Atlanta Falcons have signed wide receiver Roddy White to a 4-year contract extension. Adam Schefter reporting the deal could be worth as much as $30 million, including $18 million in the next 2 seasons. The Tigers have made a move to strengthen their bullpen, acquiring Rangers closer Joakim Soria for 2 pitching prospects. But ESPN baseball analyst Dallas Braden doesn't think Soria will replace Joe Nathan as Detroit's closer.
Where Nathan is right now, he's converted his last 3 save opportunities, so it's not like he's conquering the world, but he's starting to iron out those wrinkles that we saw him experience early on. The addition of Soria helps lengthen that bullpen, and it helps lengthen and...
Had 17 saves and 19 chances for Texas. The Boston Globe reporting 39-year-old Ray Allen is leaning toward a decision to return for a 19th season and to sign with Cleveland.
Brought to you by Mazda. Improve your road game. Mazda is the only automaker to have 2 sedans on this year's Car and Driver's 10 Best. The Mazda 3 and Mazda 6 combine the performance you want with the efficiency you need.
Now, back to the Sports Fix.
Welcome back to the Sports Fix Live here on the SportsFix.net. J-Rock back with you here as we roll on the Sports Fix Radio Network. And Mike Brandenberry from DidTheTryWinLastNight.com is on the phone lines. We're going to go back to him in just a moment as we keep the show going. You guys can keep the conversation going on Facebook. Facebook.com/TheSportsFix, SportsFixCLE. And you can tweet Mike at DidTryWin. And you can email us, thesportsfix@AOL.com. And we're going to open up the phone lines for you guys after this segment when Mike gets off the lines for the final segment of the show. So anybody that wants to get in, we'll give you another opportunity to get in on the phone lines. And you know what? Perfect segue, what we heard during the break, because I was going to bring this up as I go back to the phones. Mike, you still with me?
I'm still here.
We're talking about the Indians. We'll get into the series coming up, but I was going to talk about the stretch run and all of that. We were just talking about Francisco Lindor and how big the gap is to the future. The Tigers making moves. We've seen teams now. The Yankees this week get Chase Headley. We've seen different move. Oakland made the preemptive move of them all to begin things, and now the Tigers, the one real Achilles heel of that team, the bullpen. We've seen they've got the most garbage bullpen for a team that has aspirations of doing things, and they made a move, as we just heard during the break there, to try to address that. By the way, who in Texas owes somebody in Detroit some money? Because it appears that the Rangers they like to work with the Tigers here and help them out, but they send Soria over to the Tigers to help them try to shore up that bullpen. You knew it was going to happen. Matter of fact, the other day I said it after the series. I said, I have no doubt that you'll see Detroit make at least 1 or 2 trades and try to shore this thing up. They don't stand pat.
Yeah, I mean, the Tigers, it's like a ritual. I mean, it's the 3rd week of July, so it's time to go fill in that gap that they have. And definitely, I mean, Dave Dombrowski is, probably one of the most proactive GMs in all of baseball. I mean, maybe even all of sports, in that, he's going to give his team a chance to win down the stretch every year.
I'll tell you, though, but I'm just saying personally, after I got burned, and I know it's not intentional, but after Prince Fielder, if I'm Texas, I'm not making any more trades with Detroit. No, go talk to somebody else. I'm not even talking to you guys anymore because the last one didn't work out so well.
I always think that about the Indians and the Seattle Mariners, too. I mean, if I was a Seattle Mariner executive and I saw a phone call from 216, I'd be like, just go ahead and let that ring for a little bit, let that go to voicemail.
Exactly. What do you know about the prospects? Do you know, were those top? Because I don't know. Do you know if Detroit, were those high up prospects, or was that a relatively low risk deal for the Tigers?
I don't know for sure. I don't, but I suspect that they are lower level. The names are not names that made me say, "Oh, wow, I can't believe they gave that up for a relief pitcher." So I think it's probably a low risk, I guess low reward in that Soria is just a bullpen pitcher. But I mean, it's definitely their area of need. So the Tigers are probably a little fortunate in the fact that, middle relief is probably the easiest to acquire and at the lowest price to acquire and to try and fix.
And no coincidence it's Texas either. They're one of the 5 or 6 teams that at this point have pretty much decided, well, not pretty, it's been decided for them that the season is over and that they have now transitioned into preparing for next season mode.
Yeah, and, like you said, I think that's really going to be one of the things that complicates things for the Indians and a lot of teams is teams can't even decide if they're in it or out of it at this point. And the Rangers are one of the few that they know they're out of it. I mean, most of it is because of a mountain of injuries. But, I think they're definitely in full seller mode along with, the Cubs and the Padres. And after that, the list starts to get a little thin as to who legitimately wants to sell. I mean, even the Phillies are in last place, and it seems like every guy on their team is 100 years old, and yet, they want a king's ransom for each one of their players, and they're not sure if they want to blow their organization up. And I mean, I kind of look at that team and I'm like, what are you waiting for? I mean, you're not sure if you want to blow it up. I'm not sure if you shouldn't have done this a couple years ago.
So let's look ahead here, man. I mean, I talked at the beginning of the show, and I said you're definitely in the camp of maybe, what do the Indians do at this point going forward? Where are you at with where the Indians, which is where they've been, right around the middle of the pack, 500 every time they get. And I saw, getting off track, but it kind of ties into this. I saw, I'm trying to pull it up here. I've got 800 windows open, but I saw an interesting chart today and you may have seen this too, of the Indians with their different hitters' batting averages, and you can see the hot and the cold zones month by month. And as you look at this thing, and we've talked about it just without having the blatant color examples in front of you, but you can see the waves of who was hot and who was cold at the time, and it just keeps rotating where anytime, whether it was March, April, May, June, July, every time you would get 2 or 3 guys getting hot, a different 2 or 3 guys would go ice cold at the same time. So it was you've never had a moment, and this is not even talking about the pitching, but you've never had a moment where even 2/3 of everybody is hitting average at the same time.
Yeah, and I think, we've talked about this throughout the summer, but, this is the season of inconsistency. And,
yeah.
We talk about the starting rotation a ton, but, every aspect of this team, Jerry, has been inconsistent. Offensively, defensively, even the bullpen. As great as, Cody Allen and Brian Shaw and Mark Zepchinski and even Scott Atchison has been, there's like the evil underside of the bullpen that has been the other side where you can't trust anybody but those 3 or 4 guys. So, every aspect of this team has really been inconsistent. And I think for all those reasons, I think it's really difficult to make a decision on this team as to what to do as the deadline approaches. And I think maybe where the Indians are and where I'm at are probably 2 different places. What I think they'll do versus what I would do are probably two different avenues at this point.
and we'll go down there. Let me point out for some of you guys that don't have the luxury of a chart in front of you, but looking at this, look at the beginning month of the season. Pretty much Lonnie Chisenhall, Michael Brantley's been consistent, but in the first month of the season, I mean, Lonnie was hot. You had 4 guys who were hitting 220, 211, 151, all your main guys. You get into May, you get Bourne and Chisenhall and Brantley are all rolling. They're all hitting above 300, but meanwhile it's being